Welcome to Instruction Discussion, our weekly look at the latest topics and trends in education affecting schools here on Long Island and schools around the world. Whether you're a teacher, parent, or student, listen for tips and strategies to help you navigate the educational landscape. There's a bell. It's time to start today's Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, I'm Kevin Boston Hill, and welcome to Instruction Discussion, where each week we'll examine a recent trend or development in education and its impact on Long Island. Parents constantly seek opportunities for their children to learn and develop leadership skills so that they will become able to thrive in our global economy. Students look for opportunities to meet new friends and participate in fun activities while learning these leadership skills as well. One organization that enables both parents and young ladies to get what they want is Girl Scouts of USA. With the school year underway, now is the perfect time to join a local Girl Scout troop, many located in local schools, and experience all that it has to offer. One such opportunity is the Gold Award. On par with the Boy Scout Eagle Scout Award, the Gold Award calls for the Girl Scout member to recognize a societal issue, offer a remedy, and develop a project that addresses that issue. Today, we are fortunate to have Allie McCormick, a highly decorated Girl Scout member who will explain her Gold Award project dealing with art therapy as a method of dealing with mental health concerns. Allie, welcome to Instruction Discussion on 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, I want you to be relaxed and everything. I think this will be a very important issue for us to discuss today, especially since we know that coming out of the pandemic, a lot of students have mental health concerns.
Yes, definitely.
One, what made you think of addressing mental health concerns? And two, what made you think of art therapy as a potential solution to that?
Yeah, so I have been dealing with my own mental health struggles ever since I was a little kid. I used to have separation anxiety from my mom, and then it manifested into a whole bunch of other things. So I wanted to, sort of help other kids and teach them how they could better their mental health using art. So one of the ways that I started to get myself better is by being creative and doing art. I actually created a mural on my wall when I was at the toughest point of my life.
Okay, now when you say on your wall, in your bedroom?
In my bedroom wall, yeah.
I'm sure your parents weren't too happy about that.
They were like, you know what, whatever. But I created a mural and it really helped me. It just gives a great outlet for kids to, get out their feelings, and it's just super relaxing, and it requires just enough focus for you to forget kind of about your struggles and everything.
So what if students feel that, or anybody for that matter, feels that they're not really good at art or drawing, and how would art therapy necessarily help them?
Yeah, so art therapy is not in any way, shape, or form about your skills as an artist. Personally, I'm not the best artist, but I still enjoy it because it's less about, being good and creating like this masterpiece that's going to go in like the MoMA or something. It's more about just expressing yourself. And art therapy is really for everyone. It really is.
You said you did a mural in your own room, and I think you also developed a book on how to utilize art therapy. So how can people get a copy of that book?
I'm in the process of publishing the book, but I will be creating like QR codes. It's going to be all digital because that's just the day and age we live in now. So it's going to be all digital, but I'm planning on putting it on, a couple different websites, maybe putting it on like Instagram so people can have access to it there, promoting it on Facebook, things like that. I just have to work out a little bit more of the details.
Okay. And who have you kind of consulted as far as getting some of the information that you needed? I know because when it comes to mental health issues, not everybody is an expert on that. And I know, you had your own concerns, but that doesn't necessarily make you an expert, so to speak. So who did you consult to get some of that information you needed, that expert advice?
I consulted some of my own therapists and like my psychiatrist. I also consulted my guidance counselor, the school psychologist, also another Girl Scout, Gabby Fidis. She's great. She's actually an art therapist or creative therapist by profession. I'm not sure exactly what her title is, but she does art therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've consulted with her. Yeah, just really anyone that has some background and some experience in the mental health field.
And is there a particular, I guess, age group that you're looking to target this particular, not just the project, but the book towards?
Yeah, so the book specifically is targeted more towards elementary school, maybe a little bit early middle school level, depending on like what grade your middle school starts. But I would say the oldest is probably around 6th, maybe 7th grade, just because I feel like there's a lot of older kids that kind of know how to better manage their mental health, and a lot of older kids sort of get more help with their mental health from like school and everything. But I feel like personally, in my own experience, it's hard for younger kids to be diagnosed and specifically get help for like a mental health condition, because I think a lot of times like adults especially just chalk it up to, oh, they're just being a kid, or oh, they're just on like bad behavior or anything like that, and that's not always the case. So it's more targeted towards younger kids to bring more awareness to the fact that, you know, younger kids can have mental health issues, and it's like it's more common than people think it is. And then for this other half of my project, I'm talking to parents or just people that work with kids regularly in general. I'm talking to them about, you know, some of the signs that can be seen if a child is like struggling, just things like that, how to help their own mental health, because that's a big key factor, the child's mental health, and kind of just bringing awareness to mental health in general.
Okay, no, I think that's a really, really good thing that you're doing as far as trying to bring even more awareness to the mental health concerns of our students. We see it in our entertainers and our athletes all the time, and what they're doing to help themselves, but we don't really get into how our students are dealing with it. I mean, It's become a little bit more, I guess, ingrained in our school day, but it's like, well, they have different emojis on how to express your feelings and how you're feeling a particular day, but that doesn't really get to the nitty gritty of it. And so what are some of the, I guess, the strategies that you've learned yourself that you are looking to pass along to some of the other students as well?
Yeah, so one of the main strategies that I've learned, especially in more recent years, is don't be afraid or ashamed to ask for help. There's a big stigma around mental health, and it's sad to see almost that a lot of people are like afraid to ask for help essentially. And I just learned that, you know, talking through my feelings, whether it be with my friends or my therapist or my parents, just anyone really, it just helps tremendously. And you know what? If you're not much of a talker, you don't really like sharing your feelings, journaling helps a lot for a lot of people. Just kind of writing down your feelings, and exercise. Exercise is a big thing. Just getting out, even if you're outside for like 5 minutes, exercise helps a lot. There's like a lot of scientific research that I won't bore you with, but basically you release a lot of happy chemicals when you're exercising, and it just overall makes you feel better. So physical and mental health are very linked. So I've learned a lot about that in my research for my project.
No, it sounds like you've done a lot of extensive research, whether it's through the scientific realm and looking at the different books and magazines and articles you've come across, but also the interviews you've conducted with the experts in the field. So I commend you on all of that. I guess let's take a step back for a moment, because I mentioned at the top that this was your Gold Award project with Girl Scouts. So I don't think my introduction did it justice, or the justice it deserves. So explain to our listeners, what is the Gold Award?
Yeah, so the Gold Award is the highest award that a Girl Scout can earn. The project itself is 100 hours, and you need 12 to 20 hours. Like 12 to 20 of those 100 hours has to be like leadership hours. So, for example, this would be like a leadership hour. And it's basically, the leadership part is how you lead a group, essentially. And it just shows like that you're passing on the education aspect of your project. Also, you have like mentors and all of this stuff. And it's a lot of work, I'm not going to lie, but it's so worth it. I've learned so much, and it feels so great to just be able to help people. So I actually held a session for parents, and I did like a pre-workshop knowledge and then a post-workshop knowledge. And some of the comments that I got were just super nice, and it just made me feel great that, I was helping some parents help with their own kids, and it feels really good to help out in the community. And the project can be about any topic that you desire, pretty much. It just has to be measurable. The impact has to be measurable, and you have to have like the leadership hours. And it has to be something that you really, really enjoy. And it's okay to switch project topics.
Yeah, but it seems like this is something that obviously that you really enjoy and that you're passionate about. And I think those are probably the best types of projects for people to do. Yeah. And don't sell yourself short. I think you've done a phenomenal job because you have to assemble a team, basically. And those are the experts that you go and interview, and there's other people to, I'm sure, help out with the workshop and all those things. So it's not just coming up with the ideas, but also getting a bunch of people together who are going to help carry out those ideas.
Yes, definitely. My mom has been an awesome help. I always present to her before I do my presentation to the people that are coming to the workshop. She gives me great advice. This is a great opportunity, so I want to thank you, Kevin. It's been great, and I've gotten a lot of help and a lot of support, which I really appreciate.
You are listening to Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Kevin Boston Hill, and our guest today is Girl Scout and Gold Award project leader, Allie McCormick. So what were your experiences in Girl Scouts? Like, when did you join Girl Scouts at first? And then we got to now the Gold Award. Is that only for seniors or in high school, or any age group can get to that? So walk us through your particular progression.
Yeah, so I started Girl Scouts in the first grade, and the reason I started was I had just moved to Long Island. I didn't really have many friends. My mom was a Girl Scout, and she was like, hey, let's start a Girl Scout troop, because there was no Girl Scouts really in Jericho. And so we started the troop, and the rest is history pretty much. In fifth grade, I earned my Bronze Award, which is 25 hours of work, but you can do that as a troop, so that's more of like a troop project. So we built buddy benches for all 3 elementary schools in Jericho, and that's basically the premise is, or the idea is really, if a kid is feeling lonely at recess, they can go sit down on the buddy bench, and another kid is supposed to come up and invite them to play with them. So that was my Bronze Award. And then when I was a cadet Girl Scout, I earned my Silver Award. And for my Silver Award, I taught girls how to be confident in themselves and why self-love is important. And I told them how singing camp songs has helped me a lot and has helped me with my confidence. And that project is 50 hours. And then you move on to Senior and Ambassador Girl Scouts, which is when you can start working on your Gold Award. And so now I'm almost done with my Gold Award. I just need a few more hours, and then I will be done. But Girl Scouts has been incredible for me. It has helped me so much, and as corny as it sounds, it really did help me turn into the person I am today. So
Allie, it seems that the projects you did from the Bronze Award to the Silver Award, it kind of, they all, in the Gold Award, they all kind of go together because they're all dealing with some form of mental health concern, whether it's loneliness with the Bronze Award and getting students to be able to come together. And then you had the Silver Award, which dealt more with self-esteem issues and so forth and self-imaging issues. So I think they're all mental health issues at some level.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't necessarily really intentionally do that. It's just something that I've just been passionate about my whole life, just like mental health awareness in general. But I know a lot of different people have had lots of different topics for their 3 awards. Like my friend Angela, she did the buddy benches, and then I'm not exactly sure what she did for her Silver Award, but then for her Gold Award, she did like helping the elderly get active. So it's pretty different. So in no way does your projects need to be like interconnected. Mine just happen to be. That's more of like a coincidence.
And we've been fortunate to be joined with us now, one of your mentors on this Gold Project Award, and is one of the other people that you're helping to lead through the entire project itself, Gabrielle Fidis, also a former Girl Scout. Gabrielle, please tell us a little bit about what you do and how you're supporting Allie in her project.
Sure. So I was so fortunate to meet Allie via the National Council session with Girl Scouts for GSUSA. We recently were there in Orlando, and she told me a little bit about her Gold Award project, which she's doing art therapy techniques and exercises for what it seems is the community at large, peers, girls, adults, whoever it is. And I work as a creative arts therapist, specifically a drama therapist at Bellevue Hospital. I work in inpatient psychiatry, which is farther away from what Allie's doing with her community work. But in a way, it's the same approach because she seems to be working on, mental well-being and community work and just group cohesion in general, self-esteem, which is a lot of the facets of what creative arts therapy works to do. And so she's specifically working with the art therapy modality, but they're really all the same approach, just using different artistic modalities. And so for me, I'm inspired to see Allie at such a young age and at the community level bringing such a thing as creative arts therapy to the community and through Girl Scouting. It's an amazing match because mental health for young girls is extremely important. I think even today it's growingly important because of the internet, because of media, and just because of how our society is growing and evolving, that mental health awareness is a very important part of our daily life. And, it doesn't have to be going to psychotherapy for 60 minutes every week. It could be something as simple and as easy as what Allie's offering, which is to just have an awareness of it and to understand how we as individuals can take care of ourselves and also take care of one another as we take care of ourselves. So
let me ask you then, as a practitioner in this area, just how important is it for children, especially children? I mean, it's for everyone, but how important is it for children to have some kind of outlet for themselves when they are expressing or experiencing some type of emotional concern?
Oh, it's so important. And I think it's the awareness of its importance is really inspiring, that parents, teachers, even our politicians are understanding that children do need these outlets, that children are not small adults, which is how psychology and developmental psychology has addressed them up until, the last 20, 30 years. So I think for children, especially kids experiencing maybe bullying in school, maybe experiencing nothing adverse in school, but just living life, that life needs outlets, life needs coping mechanisms. And there are things that are happening every day that we just need ways to decompress. And children, especially because they are at this developmental age, that without these coping skills, without these outlets, it can lead to just developmental issues later on in life as adolescents, as adults, that if we don't build healthy coping skills as children, ways to express our emotions, ways to put words or just a description to what our internal self is feeling, then as adults, we struggle to use those skills. We struggle to even know what those skills might be. And so I think for children especially, it's wonderful to just teach them these things at a very basic building block kind of level. Teaching them things like emotional vocabulary can be essential, and teaching things like an awareness of what is a physical feeling inside of my body when I am having a reaction to something. Maybe they don't have the word yet because their brain's not ready for that, but at least for them to point to their stomach and be like, I know that something feels wrong, or to point to their heart, to their chest, to their head. Something feels off. Something doesn't feel like my normal. And that is how parents can really help children to develop that language. So by children being taught this awareness, adults can also help to just shepherd them into being a teenager, an adolescent, an adult, and that's how we grow into healthy people.
Now, and aside from the wonderful workshop that Allie put on for parents as far as how they can support their children through their mental health crises, what are some other resources that might be available? And first, I'll toss it to you, Gabby, first, and then Allie, you can back up this, maybe explain some of the resources that you used and presented during your workshop.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, resources are fantastic, and there's so many out there. I think it's great. Again, I'm just praising all the people who are getting on the mental health bandwagon, because the more the merrier, and it really does take a village. So resources are becoming more abundant. And I would say there's a ton of literature being published in terms of, in the self-help section, quote unquote. I put quotes around it because, self-help sounds a little like the cliche, just stereotypical branding of it. But if you're looking for those books, they're usually in that marked area of a bookstore. But just there are books that are geared towards the parent-child relationship nowadays, rather than just, you're the adult and this is what you can do. And it kind of cuts out the child, which is a disservice to the child, because it really is that relationship, that parent-child bond that is so vital to the work that one can do with their child. Because really mental health care is all about the relationship. And that's what I do and instill in my patients at the hospital, but any client I've ever worked with, that therapy is really about the relationship that you're forming and to demonstrate the power of that relationship. So I would certainly recommend anything that emphasizes that bond, that duo between child-parent, couples, parent-parent, or just like friends, anything that like instills that connection between people and cuts out the individualism. Because when we make it the individual's job, it's very isolating. And it can be discouraging because it feels like I must be doing something wrong, because all of these books are about what can you do to do a better job, rather than what can we do to build a better relationship. And I would say, even children's television shows these days are really growing into just more than entertainment and into a bit of psychoeducation, actually. Like I'm going to name drop, if I can, the show Bluey. I think Bluey is a fantastic educational tool in addition to entertainment. It is built for every age that's watching it. I am almost 30 years old, and I can't get enough of Bluey because it just really emphasizes the child's perspective as well as the parent's perspective. In addition to, it's such wonderful parenting styles. I'm not a parent, so, I'm speaking from out of context. But what I imagine parenting should be is this understanding, learning environment that, we don't just admonish children for spilling a glass of milk. That creates a bad reaction to, it creates anxiety. It means, oh my gosh, I can't make a mistake because it means that mommy or daddy is going to yell at me. Rather, this show emphasizes, okay, you made a mistake. Let's clean it up. Let's learn from this. Let's move on. And it's just a great, television shows like that are great because it involves everybody. It's kind of like, just Disney movies, DreamWorks movies that are really built for everyone watching it. There's children content, and, you see it. It's like, oh, that's silly. But then there's these references, there's jokes, there's just anecdotes that adults really pick up on that the children are like, whoosh, it went right over my head. So anything like that is just great for families to watch together and to learn together of, just how the bond can be strengthened.
And Allie, what were some of the things that you did during your workshop for the benefit of the people who could not be there, who probably should have been there, but they couldn't be? So what were some of the things that you did?
Yeah, so actually, I'm having 3 more workshops. I have a workshop tomorrow for kids. That's in person. But then I'm also having a parent workshop, but it's going to be on Zoom. So it'll be like more accessible. And then I'm also going to have a child's workshop on Zoom. But I gave them a bunch of resources. I sent out an email afterwards, just, thanking them for coming and whatever. But then I also provided them with a bunch of resources about how they can help their child, and then also about how they can help their mental health. So, for example, like the WHO organization, World Health Organization, and then also American Psychological Association.
Yep.
I put those resources in, and just a couple like helplines, like the suicide helpline, just mental health helpline in general. So there's a ton of resources that I put in. So
Okay. And for the virtual workshops that are coming up, are you planning on, hint, hint, recording those? Are you planning on recording those for those people who may not be able to attend them, but they can actually look at them later on? Or even if they do attend them, they can look at them and kind of refresh their memory on some of the things they learned?
Yeah, I just have to double check that it'll be okay with everyone if I record. But I was planning on recording them and then putting them out somewhere. So.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you're going to develop your website that you'll house all this great information, these great resources, and you'll be able to pass that information along as well. Mm-hmm. But let me ask you, if you had, and either one of you can jump in on this answer in a moment. Wrapping up in about a minute or 30 seconds or so, if you had one final thing to tell or idea about mental health among our students that you would want to share with our listeners, what would that idea be?
I think it would be to just listen to yourself and listen to how you're feeling, and then just talk about it and let out your feelings, and learn how to cope with your feelings in a healthy way. But it's mostly about just listening to how you're feeling and recognizing that, hey, I might not be feeling so great, and then trying to identify why. And just the main thing is really reaching out for help. Help goes a long way, and you shouldn't be ashamed for reaching out for help. So that's what I would say.
I think that's very well said, Allie. I would jump on that and emphasize that mental health is something that I think is coming out of the darkness a little bit. And what I would say is, there is no shame in asking for help. There is no shame in even labeling a mental health struggle or a diagnosis, something like depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. I work with people who have schizophrenia and these really serious mental health diagnoses that have been so stigmatized. And I emphasize removing that stigma and not being afraid to put it out there and share with our communities what's happening to us.
But we would certainly like to thank our guest today, Girl Scout extraordinaire and Gold Award project leader Allie McCormick, and creative arts and drama therapist Gabrielle Fidis, for coming on to our show today.
Thank you.
Once again, my name is Kevin Boston Hill, and thank you all for listening to Instruction Discussion, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.